All right, so in this talk, I wanted to talk a little bit about a step-by-step strategy that I've seen a ton of sellers use to generate a lot of Amazon reviews for their products, overwhelmingly positive Amazon reviews without violating Amazon's terms of service. If you haven't heard, they've updated their terms of service so that you can no longer give away free products or discounted products in exchange for a review. That's not allowed anymore. So I'm going to start off by giving you guys a really high-level overview of what this is going to look like from a customer's point of view. So for a customer, they'll find some kind of link into your funnel here, right? So we have a funnel that goes through these steps, and we'll have to start off with some kind of link that gets you in here. So this could be an advertisement, like what I'm showing here. I'm showing a Facebook ad here. It could be a Google advertisement. It could be posting into some Facebook group. There's a ton of different options for this, but essentially we need some kind of funnel into our space here. And I think advertising is usually the one that most people pick because it's just the easiest to get started with, and it's the most straightforward way of getting clicks through. So a user will click through the link into your landing page here. And so we've set up a landing page where once they visit, any user that visits a landing page, they'll see the landing page and they'll be prompted to enter their name and their email, their personal email, in exchange for a coupon to your product, right? A coupon for a discounted product. So in this case, you see I have a landing page here, and there'll be a prompt asking somebody who visits to, give us your name, give us your email, and we'll automatically send you this coupon that gives you a discount to this great product with instructions of how to use the coupon and a link to the product so they can go through the normal checkout flow. That's why you see here they would go to their email, right? Because after they enter their information here, they'll go to their email, get the coupon, and go through to your listing and continue with the checkout flow. And you see through this whole process, it seems like we've just made it harder for somebody to actually buy your product, right? Like, why not just go from here straight to over here? Well, the key is that in this process here, we've actually collected their email. And so in the rest of this talk, I'm going to talk a little bit more about each of these individual steps, as well as why it's so powerful to actually have their personal email, and not just the email that Amazon gives you, that, the marketplace email, the one that's encrypted. You actually have their personal email, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So first, the landing page. So in case you guys don't know what a landing page is, it's essentially a page that people visit before they visit your listing. And the idea is, because you own this page, you can actually collect information from it. You can maybe get people to take specific actions that'll dramatically increase the conversion rate once they've followed through to your listing, right? So it's just an intermediate step where you can do something that you have complete control over. So in this case, we're going to want to create a landing page that requests a personal email to redeem a coupon for your product. And once they've given you their email and their name, the VoucherLeap system, and by the way, this doesn't have to be VoucherLeap. I know that you can create a WordPress and a MailChimp integration that I think will do something similar. And any other service that follows this kind of pattern will be fine, right? But in this case, we're using VoucherLeap. So VoucherLeap is designed for this flow exactly. It'll automatically send an email as soon as they enter their email and their name, and it'll automatically send them an email with a coupon and instructions of how to use the coupon, as well as a link to your product. Okay, so now because you have their email, you're actually allowed to do a lot of various things with it. The most obvious one is that you're actually allowed to send them multiple emails, right? So Amazon really doesn't like it when you spam their users. And I wouldn't spam your users either, but the fact that you have their personal email means that you don't have to go through Amazon to send them stuff, and that by itself gives you a ton of good stuff. So let's take a look at the next thing, which is how to send traffic to the landing page. So in this case, we're talking about ads. And this is usually the way that most people prefer to do it because it's the most straightforward way, right? So Google, Facebook ads, they're both fine. And we have videos for each one of those platforms, Facebook and Google. And if you don't know how to get an ad set up or how to create an effective ad, I recommend you check out those videos. And ideally, you'd also want to use some kind of remarketing strategy. So if you don't know what remarketing is, we also have a video dedicated just for that. But the essence of the idea is that you're only going to show ads to people who you know are interested in your product, right? And the reason that you know that they're interested in your product is because they actually took some action in the past that you've tracked, right? So you know they did something that would suggest that they would like your product. But if you don't, again, if you don't know what it is, check out the video. I think you'll learn a lot there. So most people I've seen will wait and just keep the ads running until they've collected about 20 or 30 emails, right? And if you've collected 20 or 30 emails, given the fact that somebody actually gave you their email to get a coupon, it's very likely that they've actually purchased the product, right? So with 20 or 30 emails, you're probably looking at about 15 to 25 purchases of your product on Amazon. There might be a few people who give you their email, get a coupon, and then don't do anything with it, but the vast majority of people will continue through with the checkout flow and purchase the product, right? I think that's a reasonable expectation. Now the cost, just to give you a ballpark, it'll be anywhere between $5 and $10 with remarketing, and probably between 15 and 30 without remarketing. So the whole point of remarketing is that it brings down the cost of the ads, which is why it's a little bit lower with remarketing. So with every, you can imagine with every single email that you've collected, there's a certain number of purchases. Now, once we follow through with the rest of the strategy, expect about 1 review for every 2 to 3 emails that you have. All right, so let's take a look at this next part. This is the key. This is kind of the secret of this whole strategy, and this is what makes it work. So once they've actually claimed a coupon, give it a few days for people to actually go through with the checkout flow, purchase your product, and then you want to send them a personalized email. So you want to send them an email from your own email account, right, after the coupon's claimed, and after you expect them to have enough time to actually purchase the product, send them a personalized email. And the key to this email is that you want to keep it really short and personal and also really genuine. And you want to make it seem like something that is not spammy, right? If you need some suggestions for this, I would recommend checking out VoucherLeap. We have a few really good templates that a lot of people have used in the past and have found to be really successful. And so the idea is because you have their personal email, you can talk to them as if you were talking to a friend, right? So the problem with, and you might be wondering like, well, why wouldn't I just be able to do this with some auto email sender, right? There's a lot of people who use auto email senders, and so after every time an order is purchased, it'll automatically send that customer an email asking for a review, asking for feedback, asking if they have any questions. The problem with that email is that because it goes through Amazon, there's a lot of things where you have to be really careful about what you ask, right? That's the first problem. The other problem is that because it's going through Amazon, if you guys have ever purchased anything from Amazon, they send you a ton of emails, right? They'll send you a confirmation email, they'll send you a shipment received email, and then on top of that, there's this third email that somebody sends that's like a follow-up that comes from Amazon, and so a lot of the times that'll just end up in people's junk or spam. A lot of times they won't even open it, right? So because you've actually sent them an email from your personal account, they'll actually open that email and they'll actually be able to look at it, right? And if you guys use Gmail, Gmail will actually, through your Google Plus profile, they'll actually show a profile picture of you, right? And so you can imagine when a customer receives this email, first they'll open it, which is the first step, and then they'll see this really, well-written, personalized email, and they see the person who's behind it, right? They actually get a face of the business, and so they're actually dealing with a person now. And the fact that you ask them to help you out, the fact that you ask them to leave you a review, people will be much, much more willing to do this if they know that, if they can actually see the person, right? If they actually see the person that they're working with, they actually see the person who's running this business. And so a lot of the times we'll see that the number of reviews is like 60, 70, sometimes 80% of emails sent out. And so if you send out if you send out an email to 10 people saying, thanks for purchasing our product, we hope you enjoyed it, and let us know if you have any questions. We're a small business, and we're looking to make an impact, and we would really appreciate it if you leave us a review. Sometimes you'll see like 8 people leave a positive review. And if they, at the very least, they won't leave a negative review, right? That's the other thing. If you see somebody and you see their face and you see them write you a personal email, it's very likely that you're not going to go on Amazon later and leave them a negative review, even if you weren't totally satisfied with the product. So now a lot of people wonder, like, this sounds, maybe it's a little bit against Amazon's review policy, the new one, because, you know, there's a discounted product involved and we're asking for a review. So if we take a close look, right, and I've actually taken a screenshot of the terms of service here, and if you read closely what it says that essentially you're not allowed to give away or give a discounted product explicitly in exchange for a review. And if you go back and think about what this whole flow looked like, we never asked for a review as we go through this flow, right? The customer was never asked that, you know, you have to leave us a review, otherwise we're not going to give you a coupon. In this case, we kind of relied on the goodwill of the person to leave us a review. So that's actually not against Amazon's terms of service, and it's totally allowed. And a lot of, you know, if you think about it, a lot of follow-up emails will actually ask for a review anyways. And so this is very similar to what those guys are doing anyways. The difference is that because it's not coming from Amazon, because that email is not sent through Amazon, that follow-up email, it's actually sent from your personal account, it will be much more likely that they'll open it and they'll be more receptive to it. All right, so I want to recap and just finish off this talk by giving a kind of a more holistic picture of how everything works, right? So essentially, if you're a customer, you'll see an ad on Facebook or an ad on Google or a link somewhere. You'll click through it. You'll go to this landing page. The landing page will say, you know, give us your name, give us your email, and we'll give you a coupon for some percentage off, maybe 50% off our new, in this case, shredded foam reading pillow. So, you know, they enter their name, they enter their email, and they go over, they check their email account, and VoucherLeap immediately sends them an email saying, you know, here's the coupon, and here's a link, and here are the instructions of how to use a coupon on Amazon. They click through to the link, they continue with the checkout flow, right? They purchase the product, and then a few days goes by, and then you personally will send them an email, right? And they'll receive it, and it won't be from Amazon, right? So it won't be like some Amazon heading. It won't be from an Amazon address, and so they'll be much more curious. They'll probably open it, right? Very likely they'll open it, and they'll have this really simple, short, but kind of caring and like sweet letter that actually has a face attached to it, asking for some help with their small business, right? Asking if you have any questions, and if you don't, then just leave us a review at this link. And so I would also recommend, obviously, attaching a link to your review, and that'll be really helpful, right? And if you don't know how to create a link to a review for your product, check out VoucherLeap. We have that as a free service. You can put in any product and an order ID, and it'll give you a link to it'll build a link for that product, directly review it. So this is the strategy, right? And I've seen this used with I've seen this used up here with Facebook. I've seen it used with Google. People sometimes just post it into certain groups that they know people will be interested in their product. But I would really recommend you guys check this out, give it a try, and you know, let us know if you have any feedback on the software.